There's going to be a day that you look into the mirror and really question how you got to a point in life that you currently are in. You might be doing really good for yourself. You might be having the best career outputs, climbing the corporate ladder, talking to a wide variety of people, have a very solid social life, and your dating life is really good too. You take time out of your day to dedicate to yourself. You're going to the gym, you're practicing exercises and yoga and different routines that help build your confidence and clear your social anxiety and provide benefits to your mental health. This is the ideal scenario for most guys to be happy, financially stable, and a successful social and dating life. But what percent of men are actually living this? No matter what age you're looking into the mirror, majority of the guys are looking into the mirror and witnessing the same negative experience. A lot of guys are really depressed. A lot of guys have no hope for their future self, whether they're 18, 25, 30, 40, 50 even. It's just a stare into disappointment. We have no faith in ourselves. We don't have the ambition to want to work towards becoming better versions of ourselves and having a shot at living the lifestyle that we all deep down want. It's so pathetic, it's sad, and I don't know if it's changing anytime soon. I'm glad to see a lot of guys in the gym. I know the whole movement from gym culture has shifted drastically. Before, it would be very niche to see a person working out. It was for a very small demographic of men, but now you see these 13 and 14-year-olds on TikTok that are benching like 2 plates. And it's crazy to think how far gym culture has came, but I think overall it brings a tremendous benefit to society. Stronger men are able to not only protect those that they care about, but also carry a heavier load on their back and are able to just be a more supportive father. But that's only one aspect, right? I mentioned the 3 or 4 aspects that all men need to have. And having one isn't good enough. You're not balancing out the pillars properly. And as a result, your entire life will weigh down on that one pillar. Imagine a beam structure to a house. The house has 4 corners, right? It needs each of those pillars to stand up and be equally as strong in order to be able to balance properly. But if the only thing you have going for yourself is a phenomenal gym routine, let's say you're in super great shape, your diet's really well, but that's the only part of life that you have mastered, it's gonna be difficult for you, bro. And I know everybody loves to talk about how important looks are, and don't get me wrong, they really are. Looks are super important in today's day and age. But if the only thing you have is your looks and your physique, but all the other pillars aren't there, you're gonna come crashing down eventually. You might be able to withstand and balance for a little bit, but it's like standing on one foot. You're eventually going to fall over. Whether it's 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, a few years, eventually you will get to a point where you can't balance anymore and you tilt and you fall over and everything just collapses. That's what a lot of guys go through later on in life. They focus so much time on 1 or 2 pillars and not all of them. And as a result, they go through a huge hardship in their life and they collapse and they think everything that they worked for was for nothing. They believe that they're going to be depressed because they aren't living the ideal life that they want to, even though they put in so much work. But their issue isn't with the work they put in, it's where they put it towards. If you put all your energy towards 1 or 2 of those pillars instead of all 4, it's just not going to work. What you need to do is focus on how you can dedicate time to each one of those pillars. By doing that, you're giving yourself the best possibility and presenting yourself with the best possible opportunities to be successful and live that lifestyle you want. How many guys do you think actually have, let's say, all 4 of these pillars? Being your physical health, your social life, your financial health, and your mental health. How many guys do you think are actually part of this 4 for 4 club? Not many. And instead of looking up to those guys that have that lifestyle, a lot of guys are just so negative towards other men that are doing well in society. They're always so quick to say how some guy who's living the dream life was born into huge amounts of money. They might have been a trust fund baby, almost as if they weren't deserving of the lifestyle that they live. You can't look through life with this viewpoint. You can't look at other men that have the life you want and be envious. You should be inspired. You should want to be this person's friend. You should talk to them, take notes, network with them, pick their brain, figure out how you can put yourself into that situation in order for you to be as happy as that guy. Instead of beating him down and just belittling him without even having the courage to go up and speak to him, put the energy towards how you can make your situation better instead of just coming up with excuses on why you can't live that lifestyle. Whenever I've come across a guy who just seems to be living a really good life, they're good with women, they're making money, they have a good future, they have a great relationship with their parents, they go to a place of worship, I want to become friends with this guy and pick up some good qualities from him. By me brushing shoulders with him, we're naturally going to become more alike. I'm going to pick up habits that he has. I'm going to see the world the way he sees it in certain areas and just overall become the man that I want to be. But if I don't go up and talk to this guy, I'm never going to know, first of all, what it's like to actually live that dream lifestyle. And second of all, the steps I would need to take in order to get to that point. I could be doing something completely wrong and not even know it just because of how biased I would look towards myself. Because naturally we think we're working as hard as we can, we think we're working as smart as we can, and that there aren't necessarily better options to improve on. But if I speak to him and I get a clear understanding, a completely different blueprint on how I need to go about my life and the lifestyle I want to live in the future, I will approach things differently now. I will definitely not be doing the same thing that I was before because clearly it was not working. Or if what I am doing is the same thing that person did, then I'm getting some sort of reassurance that I'm not doing the wrong thing necessarily. It's just my time hasn't come yet. He might have had a few better cards that he was dealt in life, and that's not to take away from any of his parents' hard work or anything. It's just the life that I was born into wasn't the same as his. So as a result, our timing for our outcomes will vary. And that's okay. That's something I just have to accept. But me knowing that I just have to continue what I'm doing, and in 3, 4, 5, maybe even 10 years from now, I will have similar results to what he's currently experienced, I can rest peacefully with that. I don't have any issues. And a lot of people that you do view in this light who have the perfect life tend to not always have that. Even if it seems like that, it could be a beneficial relationship now, because there's aspects of my life that he may want to improve on, and there's aspects from him that I need to improve on. So when we work together, we both benefit. He picks up stuff from me and I pick up stuff from him, and as a result, it could be a really good friendship that eventually turns into a brotherhood. If I put myself in this situation, I'm winning and he's winning as well. And if you guys are not specifically sure what the ideal lifestyle is that you want, or that a high value man is living, I would say you should focus it around this. For financials, at least 200,000 a year. 100,000 is too low now. I know a lot of guys want to make 100,000 a year, 12K a month, like 10K a month, makes around 120,000 a year, but then subtract taxes, so it's a little lower than that. But that's not good enough anymore, especially with the prices rising on everything, cost of living going up. Come on, guys, we can do better than that. I want at least 200,000 from every one of you guys. Let's say you have 5 years of experience in a field, it should be at least 200,000. Go to college, get a high-paying skill, or go to trade school, or develop some sort of high-value skill that you can later monetize. But 5 to 10 years in, I need you to have at least 10 years. 5 to 10 years in, I need you to have at least roughly 200K. Try to get to 200K, but if it's a little lower than that, it's okay. But 200K should be the goal for you guys. And then spiritually, mental health. That's a huge aspect of life that I don't see any of these guys on YouTube really talking about, besides for maybe a few. But you need to have a community that you can go to where you guys share similar beliefs, and you guys can talk about either the Lord or whatever figure that you guys look up to. But just having having this company and having this community to always go to and talk to about whatever life problems that you're going through, or whatever hardships that you've experienced, you guys have very similar morals. That's why you guys go to the same place of worship, because you guys have very similar views on life and just the way you guys want to live. And your morals and behaviors, it's very important to have people that have similar morals as you, because you know they will steer you in the right path and they won't snake you over. They see themselves within you. They see part of them inside of you. They might see their future son growing up in a similar situation that would need help. So as a result, he wants to help you. It's a very good community to be a part of. And there's so much that can come with it. You can meet future friends. You can meet future spouses. It's a huge community that I currently am working on building. But I know if I would have started this 5 years ago, I could have had a super solid one. But you have to go to some place of worship at least once a month, bare minimum once a month, unless you're a super big baller and it's kind of difficult for you to go to these places. But if that's the case, you should just invite everybody to your house. Have that place of worship go to your house, like all the members of either the church, the temple, the mandir, whatever you call it, the mosque. Just go and talk, and you can have the ceremony at your house, and then that's a huge networking event. Now you know pretty much everyone that goes to the same temple as you now. But obviously, if you do want to have such a big event, make sure you're working hard and you have the space to accompany everybody, and make sure you're a really good host. So those are the first two. Third, physical shape. Come on, guys. If you're not going to the gym now, what are you doing? If you're not eating healthy, what are you doing? I made too many videos on this for me to have to go in detail with this again, but I will for any new viewers. Your physique is the first thing that people will really judge you on besides your face. Your face is the first thing. Second is your body. If you're super buff, no matter what you really wear, as long as it's clean, obviously, it'll look good on you. A slim fit suit on a buff guy is one of the most attractive things, unanimously. You will get the attention and the respect that you deserve, and it's better to have that approval from society when it comes to going into business meetings, just walking around on the street. When you are in shape, people naturally respect you more, and it's just a better way for society to view you. I couldn't imagine you trying to get the same level of respect if you aren't in shape. It's going to be very difficult for people to take you seriously, and for people to even want to associate with you. It's very rude, it's mean, but that's how society is. And that's okay, because it's forcing you to choose a better route and be healthy, eat better food, work out, exercise, and push your body to limits that you know are reachable. If you push yourself outside of your comfort zone, that builds you into more of a man and just makes you more prepared for life. Working out is phenomenal, and eating better is just as important. Make sure your meals match your exercise routines, because a lot of guys love to work really hard in the gym, but then they snack on chips or they eat a lot of fast food, and you know, that's not what you want. Even if you're still able to maintain a nice physique, you're destroying your insides, bro. So treat your body like a temple and only put the finest things inside of it. And then 4 is the social aspect, because if you do not have friends, your life is boring. I don't care how much money you make. I don't care how great a shape you're in. If you can't talk to people and have meaningful relationships to share the experience of life with, it's very, very difficult for you to enjoy yourself. And a lot of guys have this mentality of, oh, I have to be a lone wolf, or I have to do it all by myself because I can't trust anybody. And even if people did you dirty in the past, I'm sure all guys have gone through this. We've had 1 or 2 really close friends that eventually did us dirty, and we didn't see it coming, and we didn't really know how to react to it. It destroyed us inside. As men, we thought our brothers stay with us forever, but that's not always the case. Sometimes they really expose who they truly are later on in life, and it sucks, but it's something you're just gonna have to swallow and accept, because that's how some people in life are. They're going to use you for what they need, and then once they get everything they need out of you and you don't serve a purpose for them anymore, they just kick you out of their life. You know, they're not going to stay with you when you're down, when you have those grind years where you're working 60, 70 hours minimum, going to the gym, cooking your own meal prep because you can't afford to buy it from someplace else, and you're eating out of paper plates and plastic silverwares because you can't afford proper utensils yet. But those guys that leave you, they will try to come back into your life, and it's important you keep your distance because you already seen who they are at their worst, and that's who you should judge them on. Who they are at their worst might be more impactful to your life, and it might be more detrimental to your life than who they are at their best. So always keep this in mind when people try to come back into your life. And in terms of just building a good social circle, it has to be with high value men, has to be with guys that have similar values as you, which I mentioned earlier you can find perfectly in your place of worship, and just guys that you want your kids to interact with. You know, when that person has kids and you have kids, you want those kids to talk together and, you know, grow up together, and then kind of carry on the generational friendship. This is a huge thing that I don't see anymore either. I don't know why guys don't talk about the power of generational friendship. Let's say your father meets some guy that he was best friends with in high school. Your father's best friend has kids, and now you and your father's best friend's son are best friends, and then your kids are best friends. You see the chain? It's almost like a legacy of friendship. This brotherhood is bulletproof. At this point, every time you guys have an altercation or a disagreement, you guys work it out and you work together to make better results in the future, because you know the respect your families have had for generations. There's no way you guys can break it up. You guys aren't going to snake each other, and you guys will protect each other from the bad people in this world. I think that's the most powerful form of brotherhood, and I strongly recommend any guy that is fortunate enough to be in this situation to have it. If your dad's best friend has a son, you gotta make it one of your highest priorities to become best friends with that guy. Obviously, if he isn't a good influence on you and he's nothing like his father, and sometimes that's the case where kids just don't turn out as good as their parents did for a multitude of reasons. But if he is clearly a clean-cut kid with a bright future, bold and ambitious, you better believe it is in your best interest to become really good friends with him. Carry on that generational friendship.